Hey guys, and welcome back. As always, this is Mitch at Diagnostic North, and today I have a real treat: a 2008 F250 with a 6.4 diesel engine with a customer's complaint of a no crank, no start condition. A little bit of the history on this truck from what the customer tells me is that they've had another mechanic look at it, was unable to fix it, and the truck's just been sitting for about 7 months. So let's go ahead and confirm this complaint. Confirming this one, guys, is going to be pretty straightforward. Just turn the key and see if the truck starts. And in our case, we turned the key, nothing happened. So before we move on, I feel it's important to run through a few hypothetical scenarios on why a truck won't start. Could it be the battery voltage is drained too low? Or simply a burnt fuse for ignition, possibly module power? Hypothetically speaking, a bad starter motor could cause a no start, including power and ground and the signal wire. One other possible cause would be a key fob problem not registering to the anti-theft system, resulting in a no-start condition. It's also very likely that we have a wiring or a module problem where it's not receiving an input, it's not outputting an output, or there's a communication issue. I believe going back to our customer's complaint will help us understand this problem a little bit more. So when we go to turn the key to turn the engine over, nothing happens. But if you look closely at this dash, and I'm sure some of you have already noticed it, it is missing the park indicator. Now, without this park indicator, the engine isn't allowed to turn over. Although we have already isolated our problem, let's hook up our scan tool to read more information. Alright, so I'm connected to the truck, and we've confirmed the complaint, lost communication with TCM. Not what I wanted to do, and it looks like that's the only code on this truck that'd be causing a no start, just because we're not getting our park or neutral signal allowing the engine to crank. So let's go ahead, we can look up a little bit more information on this TCM. Now that we have step number 4 under our belts, it's time to go investigate and do a visual on this TCM and the wiring harness. We need to see what we're up against. The transmission control module in this case is bolted to the upper flange of the driver's side frame rail. I'm not very surprised we have problems with it just because of its location. The best way to remove those bolts on the upper frame flange was with a 1/4-inch drive, 13mm shallow socket. It helped working it back and forth. During removal of the TCM, it was observed that the TCM connector was damaged. Upon further examination of this connector, it was deemed likely that it was contributing to our problem. Although that connector is in pretty rough shape, it didn't contribute to our no-start problem, and we had to continue on. Our next step is to verify all the powers and grounds at this TCM connector and go from there. We're going to be checking our battery positive, which, as you can see, branches off to this guy. So we have pin 31 and pin 1 are battery positive. And then we have a ground on pin 9 on left side of frame rail. So we're going to be checking this out, paying close attention, as well as pin 33 on left frame rail, another ground. So it's possible, guys, we just have a bad ground going to this TCM, allowing it not to start. So now that the transmission control module is easier accessible, we're going to go ahead and measure our power signals as well as our grounds. And I should note that testing voltage alone with a multimeter is insufficient. You need to load the circuit, and in this case, I use a 12-volt incandescent light bulb to ensure the wires can carry the load. Alright guys, so take a look at this module. You see the silicone on all 4 corners? That silicone is there because there's cracks on the corners of the module. Now, because of its location, what are the odds that maybe some water got in there? So we're back for round 2. We ended up finding a used TCM, a known good one, and a bunch of valuable parts. So this is a lock mechanism that slides into here and actually locks it down onto the pins and make sure everything's making contact. And then we're going to install this ground back up onto the frame flange. There's a couple bolt holes there. Yeah, and we'll show you how we make out with that. Hey, so there we go. That's a familiar sound. The engine started up. That means that we can cross off step number 7, verify your repair, and continue on with our work order. It'd be nice to know why this transmission control module failed in this way, so we might have a follow-up video for you guys. But if you guys like the content, hit that like button, leave a comment below, and don't forget to subscribe, because this is Mitch at Diagnostic North, signing off.